You have entered the 8th dimension of the Geek Dad Reports. Today on the show, we are going to be doing a Craptastic about a movie that is so thick in nostalgia that you may have to break out your double belt, bell bottom, no, it's not bell bottom, what's in the 80s? Double belted, shoulder padded jacket with no shirt and your punk mohawk to handle this review.
And then you're going to have to stab your eyeballs out halfway through.
We got our very first ever request for a Craptastic that someone thought the movie was so bad they had to get our opinion on. So we said, yes, we will review this on Craptastic. But then we looked, and it's actually sitting at like 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it doesn't technically apply to Craptastic. But since this movie was made in 1984 and may or may not be one of the worst movies we've ever seen, we have decided that we are going to apply this to our GDR's Craptastic. So tonight, we are going to be bringing you the one, the only Geek Dad Report review of The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension. I, if you do not know, am Brian West, the hostess with the mostest.
And I'm Ryan Thomason, I'm not a Jamaican space alien.
And we are diving into the Wayback Machine. And we're going to talk about this movie. So that is probably the longest intro we've ever done for a Craptastic. But I felt like it was needed because this is the first movie. This is the first movie that people are going to watch because they say, oh, I love this movie. Because they are watching it through very thick nostalgia glasses.
Yes.
And
I remember that one time I saw it when I was a kid and I had a blast.
Okay, so we're going to give a little disclaimer on this. We're about to trash this movie. And we're about to trash it real hard. Me and Ryan both kind of thought, I remember seeing this as a kid, but I started watching this and I don't know if I've ever actually seen this movie. And if I have, I did not remember a single thing from it. So we do not have the luxury of remembering this as a child. So we only have the luxury of remembering this as 35-year-old men.
Who are watching a movie that was made when I was 2 years old.
So please do not just destroy us in the comments telling us how stupid we are and all the reasons why we should love this movie. There are things about this we did enjoy, and we'll talk about that. At least I did, and we'll talk about that too. But for the most part, we are going to be trashing this. So if you don't want to hear a review, and this is your favorite movie of all time, and you don't want to hear a couple old dudes just tear it apart, maybe you should move ahead. Move along, nothing to see here.
It's like you said, when we got the request, and I looked at the cover, like, okay, I think I've seen that movie.
Yes.
And I sat there and I was like, I don't remember anything about this movie, like, whatsoever. And they're like, oh, there's so many great 80s, people that were in it. So I was like...
Okay, I will say that real quick before we dive into the movie. This has the best 80s cast of all time.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Of all time. Who's in this movie? Here, let me get the cast list here. Peter Weller. RoboCop is in this movie. John Lithgow is in this movie. Ellen Barkin is in this movie. Jeff Goldblum is in this movie wearing a red cowboy outfit with a giant hat.
And he's from New Jersey.
And he's from New Jersey, and they call him, spoiler alert, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown himself is in this. The bad guy from Highlander, Clancy Brown, is in this. And then there's other people I don't know. But, I mean, this cast is amazing. And some of the names in these, here's some of the names of characters. Buckaroo Banzai, Penny Pretty, New Jersey, John Big Booty, Perfect Tommy, Reno, Nevada, President Windmark, let's see, Rawhide, John Parker, John O'Connor. Because, fun fact, all the aliens are Jamaican and they all start with the name John.
Yeah.
What was it, like, where they had John Smallberries?
Yeah, John Smallberries.
So, okay, so this movie is a cult classic. I don't even know where to start with this. So this movie has reached cult classic status for years. I really got this confused with a couple other movies, Ice Pirates and Time Bandits. I thought those were what I was thinking that this movie was, but I was wrong. It was something totally different.
Like maybe you might have thought like parts of The Last Starfighter or something.
Yes.
But
Okay, so anybody who's not familiar with this movie, I'm going to try and give you a little breakdown of what it's about, and I'm going to try and do my best here.
can you really break it down?
It's about a rock star, scientist, surgeon,
neuroscientist or
like,
something.
super genius, samurai, kung fu expert who goes into a different dimension with this device where there's a race of aliens who are locked away in the 8th dimension who are like the Hitler aliens of Planet 10, and because they unlock it, aliens.
Which was a literal thing that they said in the movie.
Yes, I'm not making this up. Then the aliens from World Planet 10 show up in this giant amoeba spacecraft, and they tell Buckaroo Banzai that if he doesn't stop some of the aliens that have been released from the 8th dimension, who's taken possession of John Lithgow's body, who wants to release all the Hitler aliens from the 8th dimension, that they're going to fake a nuclear attack into Russia so that Russia will annihilate the planet with nuclear bombs.
Yes.
And those aliens are all Jamaicans.
Very much like, and they're doing really thick Jamaican accents.
This movie felt. Remember that movie? What was it? What was the movie that had Roddy Piper? That They Live. This movie kind of felt like it wanted to be that movie a little bit, but I don't know which one came first.
I can't tell if they were like taking it seriously or not.
This movie,
like, you thought like this was gonna be like a legit like movie. Like,
I don't know where to start with this movie. It is literally the most random. Remember that episode of Family Guy when they had the manatees and they were like, "How do you determine episodes of Family Guy?" And the manatees like push cubes into it, and whatever pops up is what it's about. Like, I feel like two dudes got real fucking high, like the highest they've ever been, and the guy goes, "I got a great idea for a movie. First of all, let's talk about Buckaroo Banzai, who happens to be, don't ever talk to me about Rey in Star Wars being a Mary Sue. Buckaroo Banzai is literally good at everything. He's supposed to be like a half Japanese dude, but he's played by a Irish white guy who like is apparently a samurai, but the only thing he ever does with samurai is puts on a samurai headband and like bows a few times.
Yeah, and that's like in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
And he's good at everything, but he's not good at anything. Like, he can't fight, he can't shoot.
It's like they took every like misogynistic,
God,
male trait that they could think of, and they tried to put it all into one character. Like, he's got a hard rock band, but the hard rock band plays brass instruments.
Oh my God. My favorite part, so they perform in a rock band, they do a musical thing, and he stops everything because he feels sadness in the audience, and he finds this girl, Ellen Barkin's character, who's just crying, and he's like, "I'm going to sing you a song," and so he sings this song, and he's got some cool one-liners. Like, I love that thing, he's like, "Wherever you'll be is where you are," or something like that. It's got there's some cool one-liners in this movie.
The words and shit.
Yeah, and so he's singing to her, and so halfway through she starts crying, and she pulls out a gun in this weird dark turn and tries to kill herself. But she misses, and then when the gun goes off, literally every band member pulls out a piece. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why do all these people have guns? Like, it's so random. And let's talk about, so you have his crew is called the Hong Kong Cavaliers. And all of them are pretty much white dudes.
None of them are Asian.
There's one like Latino character.
Yeah.
And not just that, like, this whole movie has this established universe. It feels like it's part 3 of a 6-part trilogy or saga.
Jeff Goldblum's wearing like a bright ass red cowboy outfit.
So they ask him in the beginning to join. Buckaroo asked him to join his Hong Kong Cavaliers because Buckaroo Banzai is like the most famous person in the whole world. Why? I don't fucking know. But he is. And they also have the Blue Blazers, which is like his like worldwide crew that he can call at any point and somebody will show up to help him.
Yeah, but they're like kids.
Well, yeah, they had a little black kid with an AK-47.
Yeah, and he's like,
and him and his dad are like helping out, and I'm like, this is very irresponsible. Why does your child have an AK-47? But I don't know, whatever. But so Jeff Goldblum says, "Oh, I can join your team." He's like, "Yeah." So they go to pick him up, And he's got these two bags that are like fake cow skin fur, and he's wearing this ridiculous cowboy outfit. This movie has the weirdest outfits I have ever seen, even for the 80s.
It was bad. I mean, it was just bad on so many levels.
Dude, and everybody, I will say this though, everybody brings their acting to level like 15. Like,
oh yeah,
everybody is acting the shit out of this movie.
But
like when they fall, they're not just like, ugh. They get shot, they're like, ugh, and they fly.
But and then, I mean, I don't usually focus on cinematography or anything like that, but it looks like a bunch of people that are just like shooting it,
Dude,
with a high schooler's camera.
And all the sets look like cardboard.
Yeah, and it's like he has Buckaroo Banzai has like run and jump over this little wall where Rawhide's been shot or something.
Oh, dude,
and the scene's just like,
and then Rawhide, he's like
hopping up. Like over this wall.
Rawhide's like his number 2 guy, and he's like, and spoiler alert, he dies. And he's like, I'll feel my legs. I'm not doing so hot. And he's like, stay with me, Rawhide. And he's like, what are you guys all standing around for? Get to work. Keels over. And just like,
and then he hops, and then Buckaroo Banzai just hops back up, and then it shows him jumping over the exact same wall again. But he has to go over. He's like this. He's supposed to be this ninja guy, but it looks like he ran and then fell and then just like.
And there's so many random parts, like when the main bag and when John Lithgow is trying to like escape in their bootleg ship that they got, and the aliens are in these weird like vest things that they use, and like John Big Booty keeps telling him that he sucks at his job, and he keeps telling him to shut up, and then just out of nowhere he pulls out a gun and shoots him. It's just so random. The whole movie is just insane. And then at the very end, Buckaroo Banzai parachutes out of an alien ship, and then the guy drives by, the Jamaican alien drives by, and Buckeye goes, yeah. It's like, where'd you get a parachute?
Yeah, so he's sitting there, he's not looking at the screen, which I guess is, you're not looking outside. He's like, go left, all right. And then you see this laser coming out, and it blows up the ship. And then he's like, all right, the ship's gone. And this, not even hesitating, he just opens up the hatch and just crawls
Jumps out. Yeah, and he's got a parachute. The whole movie's so
the ship.
And then they have the president who's best friends with Buckaroo Banzai, but he's in a weird traction thing because something happened to his back. I don't know. There's so many weird, random things that happen in this movie, and the whole movie you're like, is there another movie that I missed? There's so much going on.
And then the one girl was a robot, apparently, or something. Or
Patty?
Or wait, what was with the electricity thing? I can't remember.
Oh, so the aliens sent a bolt of electricity through the phone to talk to Buckaroo Banzai, so that way he could see the aliens because they were masked.
Okay, that's right.
But then at the end, his girl was in a coma. So he's also got this girl who he's now in love with because she just randomly happens to be the girl who tried to kill herself, is the twin sister of his dead wife.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise. But he's in love with her because she looks like his wife. It's really kind of creepy.
Not for any other reason, but just because he's like, man, I remember when I was banging my wife.
Yeah, and you look just like her, so we got to be together.
This looks exactly
and she's in a coma, so he decides to pull the old creepy Prince Charming. Well, she's sleeping, so I'll just give her a big old wet one.
Yeah.
And so when he does, the electricity shocks her back to life, and she's like, oh, Buckaroo, and then she closes the blinds.
But then she's the alien sitting at a big table or something.
Oh yeah, they kept torturing her, and she's just like, ugh, I'll never talk, ugh, ugh. And they had this big slime thing that was creepily crawling towards her face. I don't know what the fuck happened in this movie. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what drugs they were doing when they did it. But everybody involved was like, this is going to be the best fucking movie we've ever made. They take their acting to a level that I've never seen in a movie. All of them. And
Jeff Goldblum played the exact same character.
Jeff Goldblum plays Jeff Goldblum in a giant red cowboy outfit.
Yes. And it starts off with the Star Wars scroll.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's got this weird Toyota Ford pickup truck that's turned into a rocket ship that somehow manages to go to the 8th dimension. But they don't tell anybody they're going to do it. You know what? This is one of the weirdest fucking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. But I will say this. The end of this movie is amazing. Not the movie itself, but when they go to the credits, it starts out with all the cast, like in some weird, like, reservoir dam area. They do the best, like, strut walk, and they're just like, and they got the synthesizers going, and they're all just like, And they all start, like, doing this happy dance, and one dude is fucking legit, no shit, wearing ninja shoes. And they're all dancing, and they are all like, we are the coolest ever. This is a cast that thought, they're like, when they made this movie, they're like, this is the next Star Wars. We are going to be the next big thing forever. And they even say, like, coming next, Buckaroo Banzai versus the Western Mafia or some shit. Nope, there's no Western Mafia.
There's no coming back.
This movie did this.
And then at the very end, it hypes the next movie.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, it's worth it just to watch the walk. I will say this about this movie. All right, crap or craptastic? What are you going to say?
It's crap. Crap.
All right, so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's craptastic just for the reason that every person should watch this movie because it's the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Okay, here's the only way I would say it's a craptastic. If I was to be drinking a lot of alcohol
or high as fuck,
yeah, and if it was one of those two things, then I would definitely say this is a craptastic movie. If you're going to imbibe yourself, either way, I'm
not going to put this on any of my top lists ever. But actually, I'm going to say this is the most batshit crazy movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
I give W.D. Richter, the director, all the credit in the world for taking something that should never work and it didn't, but put it all. This movie would never get made now because it's insane. But
the next movie is Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime Syndicate or something like that.
There you go, the World Crime Syndicate. But I will say, I recommend everyone watch this, but go in fully knowing that this might be the worst, craziest movie you have ever seen. But it's worth it just for that final walk. That final strut, especially since like people who are dead pop up. They just like, I'm not dead, I'm still alive. I'm doing my strut. And there's a dude wearing double belts, and then Mr. Perfect's wearing like this sweetest like white leather jacket with shoulder pads and no shirt. It's great. Gotta watch. People are dancing.
The 80s were not as cool.
Oh my god, this might be of a lot of bad 80 movies. This might be king of them all.
Yes.
So there you go.
Drink a lot of alcohol and then watch this movie.
We'd like to know what you think about the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension because we thought it was fucking crazy.
Yes.
Anyway, there you go. Thanks for checking us out. Let us know what you guys think about this movie in the comments or what you thought of our review. As always, thanks for watching. And stay awesome, everybody.
Stay nerdy.